welcome to Exploding Cinema at the wonderful Tom Thumb Theatre. I hope you're all sitting comfortably. I know it's a bit of a squeeze, but it's going to be really worth it tonight. So just to let you know, we have quite a distinguished programme for you this evening. Not only have we got, or should have, 100% of the filmmakers here to actually speak to us about the films, we also have 100% of the films from the Thana area. So I think we all deserve a round of applause for that. So the show is going to be in two halves with an intermission, just to let you know that you will get a chance to go and get another drink or go to the loo or something. So we're going to start off now and we'll do the first half, and after each of the films will be very short, and unfortunately we'd love them to be longer, but because of the programme we can only do about a 5-minute Q&A with each of the filmmakers, and then we will have an intermission and a raffle and a few other little surprises. So our first film is called Magpie by Joe Cornish, I think. Sorry, have I said the name right?
Inspiration.
Oh, I'm so sorry, God, already. Joe Bradshaw. Okay, so we're going to start with that. Thank you.
I just got taken here when I was sleeping.
The doctor said something to my dad, who left straight away.
You aren't allowed to see anyone. No one can come anywhere near us. We're dangerous.
For your family's safety, your friends, for everyone.
See anything? We've been snatched and replaced.
We're dangerous.
This is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
It's a bit rude. Wouldn't put it past them to hang us. This would be the perfect place to do it.
No.
No one would know.
They're gonna kill us.
It's okay.
Which I'd rather, instead of staying here.
I've got an idea.
Freezing. I feel like death. You hear that?
You hear that?
Ruth, can I get some help, okay?
Okay, Joe, are you around? Can you come up to me? Thank you so much. That's all right. Can we give another round of applause for Joe? It's a great film. I don't know if it says in the actual, I know from our emails that this is actually based on a true story. Can you talk about it, please?
Yeah, so basically during lockdown, my mum told me this story about her mum, my grandma. And in like the 1930s, there was a whooping cough pandemic at the time, and she got sent to an isolation hospital, and I basically thought that was like the most terrifying thing that could happen to you if you were like 10 years old. And it was also like weirdly parallel to what was happening during the COVID pandemic. So I just wanted to write like a horror film about that. And I don't know if it's quite a horror film, but like just something really sad and bleak, basically.
I think it worked because I think the guy in the front row nearly jumped 5 feet out of his chair, so that only worked. Did your grandmother get to see it?
Oh no, I never met her. But yeah, maybe she probably wouldn't like it. I don't know.
What did your mother think of it?
I don't know if she's seen it, but she seemed pretty up for me doing it. Yeah.
It was her mother or her grandmother?
It was her mum.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big thing, isn't it? Like your son goes off and, you know, it's quite a big inspiration to do something like that. So tell me, I'm really interested in your locations. Yeah, so it wasn't actually filmed in Thanet, it was filmed in Bristol, where I was living at the time, but I edited it in Thanet, so... it was basically a 3-day shoot. 2 days were in one building that my friend's parents owned, which was very convenient. So that was that old building they were in. And then it was a 1 day in Cheddar Gorge, where we asked for permission, and they were like, it's like £1,000 a day. So we just went and filmed, and thankfully no one came. It was very rainy as well, as you could see, but I think that helped a lot with the atmosphere. I think it really worked. But also your two actresses, how did you find them? Because they're quite good too, aren't they? Yeah, so early on someone was helping me, and she went to Bristol School of Acting, so she put out a call through them. That was Kaylee, who played the brown-haired girl. And then we just held like open audition. We just put it out on social media, and then found Sunny, who played the blonde-haired girl. Yeah. Also, I think your soundtrack's it's really interesting, and you know, can you tell me about your kind of inspiration and where you maybe found or made some of those sounds? Yeah, so I basically found a composer who was willing to work for free. It was his like first time doing it. I think he was studying music at uni, and I kind of told him I wanted to sound a bit like Uncut Gems soundtrack with like synth sounds, and it actually, I didn't realise how loud the bass would be, because this is like the world premiere. So it's quite a loud soundtrack, it turns out. But yeah, he just kind of, I think he was also really into like Christopher Nolan, Hans Zimmer stuff, so it's kind of very like bass heavy. It sounds excellent. So listen, I'd like to ask if any of the audience members have a question for Joe.
When you were making it, did it scare the hell out of you when you were making it? Did it scare the hell out of me to watch it?
It was actually quite, it wasn't scary, it was more stressful and like intense.
Yeah.
It was quite hard to see what the final film would be like when we were making it, and actually we cut like 5 minutes of dialogue scenes, and so yeah, it wasn't a very scary experience.
But the sort of filming you did is very close in. Mm-hmm. Was that, how did that change? Did you have more full screen, or were you just like convinced on doing the very close?
Yeah, we shot a lot of wider stuff that all basically ended up getting cut. So much got cut. We probably could have shot for 1 day less than we did.
Yeah.
But I just found that like the close-ups are way more powerful than these wide shots.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's because you're in their face all the time.
Well, thank you.
Another round of applause for Joe. Well done. Congratulations. So next up we have a film called Crystal Eyes.
Step outside to get inside. The ride begins. A cloud-inflicted wonderland. No one here would understand. Answers are only for you. You take this secret, wrap it in gold. No one there will ever be told. Splashback, hunchback, sing along. Cardboard images tumble away. Lyrics versus disorder, let no one know this. Wrap it in gold, no one sees visions that you hold. Hiding, sliding, terrified of truth. Projections are rejections, reaching to the deepest skies. All I can do now, wrap it in gold, release the fire. It's yours now, sold. Vision is magnified, distorted, heroic. All of this is all of you. Next time, I'll be me.
Is Mr. Young in the room? Mr. Young, please come to the front, please. Thank you. Can we all give Mr. Young a round of applause? Nice to meet you. Yeah, good. So, tell me what's going on in this film. Because it's quite fragmented. There's lots of layering going on. So.
I can't, I'm afraid. It's unlike I've done a feature film before and I'm working on another one, and they're fairly sort of straightforward things. So when I'm doing a short film, it tends to be very surreal and very something else. So I can't. I'd like to explain. I can explain a few things, but I can't really explain what it's about because, and I'll tell you why. There's another film I did some years ago, and I thought it was about something else. And then someone wrote to me and said, "Oh, that's the greatest film I've seen about death." I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't realise it was about death. And then when I watched it again, I realised it was. And so that film, it's more about a bunch of feelings, if that makes sense, rather than a straightforward narrative. And so I suppose the question for you is what do you think it was about? And did you take anything from that? Because I kind of know what it is, but that's rather irrelevant because we're sitting in a room of however many people, and I put it online for however many people to see it. And so once I've done with it, it's kind of yours now, right? So yeah, does that make sense? It probably doesn't actually. It makes about much sense to the film, right?
It does make sense, but it's like there's so much selection in the film, you know, like the music. I mean, obviously the soundtrack is like very distinctive, and then obviously you've got the words that she said. Can you tell me about the process of the making of the film then?
So normally when I write a short film, it's very, writing a script and what have you. This one was a little bit different in that I'd written a bunch of sort of poem type things, and so what I did was I used that as the basis for the script, and so the story came from that. And then that merged with something I was thinking of in terms of light and dark, and so obviously you see the lights and what have you, and then it needed to be. The poem wasn't really about that as such, but it kind of needed to be someone who was carrying a secret, and I'm not even sure if that secret is even true or not, and I don't think she knows if it's true or not. Yeah.
Thank you. So, because I wondered, was it a collaboration with the actress? Like, was she? There was no kind of what's the word? There was no kind of ad-libbing in it. It was quite tightly scripted, yeah. I mean, certain things in it made me think of Sex, Lies and Videotape because of when she goes from kind of film to the video images. And then it's very strange seeing that scene with the knife in the daytime, especially when you had all that kind of stalking, pimping Tom kind of stuff throughout the streets. And then you go to broad daylight. It's very, but I think it kind of sets out to confuse expectations.
Yeah, right, and I think that's a strength actually, because I think if you've got a straightforward narrative, you need to do those things which are kind of like you need to set the audience up, don't you, and whatever. If you've got a short film and you're making something that's 5 minutes long, you don't need to do that. You can all of a sudden have the most horrific sequence in broad daylight. And you can have the most beautiful romantic sequences where there's, just a few Christmas lights and what have you, and you think something awful's going to happen, but actually it's probably the most tenderest part of the film, So you can do those things, and yeah, you're right. I like playing with like Super 8 footage and that sort of thing. But yeah, I like, that's why I like short films. I like that you can do something different. It doesn't have to be, like this, it can be something else. It can be sort of all up here and around there and what have you. Yeah.
You're kind of almost drawing attention to the construction of things because you're kind of going against the construction of things. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, just want to double check. Anybody in the audience have a question?
Yes. Why Christmas Eve?
That's a really good question. Why Christmas Eve? I think because on Christmas Eve, it's the most magical time of the year, right? And it's lovely, and so everybody's excited. Everybody's got it's beautiful. I love Christmas. It's my favourite time ever. But then every day there's always this darkness underneath people, and so it's like, well, it needs to be Christmas Eve because this character has got this secret, and it doesn't matter whether it's Christmas Eve or not, it's always there. So that's why it's Christmas Eve. So she went out and did that horrific act of murder on Christmas Eve.
Alright, thanks so much, Mr. Young. I'm sorry. So we just go on for the next one then? Okay, so the next one is called Sauna Stories.
when people arrive down here, they see the canopy, they see it open from afar, they're like that, yes. Yeah, 2 bags, a lead, and then I'll put the dog mat there, so a lot of the users here, people that come to use it, they have their dogs, and they bring their dogs along. Sometimes the dogs can miss mummy and daddy.
It's too rough though for me, but yeah, I was too late for the tidal pool, so I decided to have a quick dip, but a bit rough.
Yeah, a bit rough and a bit cold?
Yes, it is actually. It was a little bit cold, but for me, if I start swimming, I'm fine, but I can't stand around.
Yeah, I feel tingly and good, yeah.
Gorgeous day. Morning, as I arrived, I've got here about 6:30.
Yeah.
Beautiful, spotless.
Yeah.
The 2 swans.
Oh, you're kidding?
This is 2 swans in the middle of the tidal pool, just swimming slowly. And I was like, 4 years I've been here.
Yeah.
I've never seen swans.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody knows Fred. They always like, oh, Fred. They don't remember my name, but they know Fred.
So what's your name?
Carla.
Carla, nice to meet you, Carla.
Carla and Fred, what a pair. I like that about gangsters.
Yeah, we are secretly. We have a double life.
Nice one. What time are you here till today? About 2 o'clock.
Oh, right. Right. I'll let it get a bit hotter and then me and the missus is going to jump in as well. Is it really hot there? Oh, don't tell the missus. Oh, cheers, man.
I had to come down to Margate a few times to visit a pal, and he suggested it. He said, look, maybe give Margate a try. I thought he was actually crazy. I thought he was bananas to suggest such a thing, but the more I'd come to visit him, the more I started to quite understand what he meant, and I was like, okay, I think I kind of get it here. But coming down here in the mornings, it was that heat wave, it was blistering hot. 6 o'clock in the morning, it was like midday heat. So I'd come down for a walk. I was still kind of in that honeymoon period of living by the sea. I was kind of working out. I had a skipping rope with me, and I was doing a bit of shadow boxing. And it would be about an hour before I saw anybody else, another human being. I remember just thinking, why is no one out here walking or just doing what I'm doing? And just like that, I thought, right, okay, maybe I can. That's it. Outside fitness, beach fitness, blue health fitness. Let me start. I started using the exterior of the sauna to attach my equipment and work out with myself and my clients. And I remember there's this gentleman that used to walk past me most mornings with his dog. He used to wave, and I used to wave back, as you do. And one day he was walking towards me, and he actually stopped me and introduced himself. Hi, I'm Dominic. And he said, I own the sauna. My heart skipped a beat, because I actually thought I was going to be told off for using the sauna, for basically touching it and attaching stuff to it. And I think he saw that, and he just said, no, this is actually fine. You've actually done me a big favour. You've actually figured out how to use it during the lockdown. He said to me, when we're allowed to be outside again, when things are back to normal, if you'd like, I'd like to give you the key, and you can use it to store your equipment, so you don't have to lug it everything to and fro, and you'll have a home, and the sauna will have protection.
I hope you don't mind me asking. Is it kind of tricky at this time when you want to get up and, when you want to go home, there's no one else around?
You just get a few people that you tell them that we're closing at a certain time, but they're just entitled.
Yeah.
I see people putting
more water.
12:58.
Yeah.
And I close at 1, and I told everyone I close at 1.
Yeah.
And then they can hear them moan and say one another, oh, it's not hot enough, but it's been hot since 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And then would it be hot by like 7?
When I first opened up, I always because if they should put on quite a bit of wood, maybe say 15-20 minutes worth.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste it, so I said, look, just go back in.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. So you're quite flexible.
I'm nice.
I know you're nice.
I'm nice. I get annoyed, but I'm nice.
That's fair enough.
Everyone should come down here. Okay, what do I do first? I'm going to clean the windows. I like doing this, I find it so satisfying. If some of the volunteers a heads up in the description of some of the characters and how to deal with them. No, it's closed now. I was on that boat out there. A nice glass of wine. As you get older, peace becomes the ultimate commodity. Huge commodity. See you in the morning.
See you, take care.
Well, you never guess who made that film, would you? Okay, well, I got a really big surprise tonight because I was expecting to talk to Clint, but he's otherwise engaged. But the lovely Carla's here. So, Carla, would you like to come up? Or would you not? You don't have to now because I'm really putting this on you.
Go on.
Well done, Carla. So much for coming up. Look, we dress for the occasion. We're about this. We're like, anyway, how does it feel to go into a place and find yourself? Because Carla wasn't sure this was going to happen. So how do you feel?
Yeah, I just came along because you said that Freddie would be there, so I thought, I've got to come along and see Fred, because he's a rescue from Battersea. I got him at 9. He's 12 now, and we've been back to Australia and back. We've landed here. We didn't expect to be back, but yeah, I just love him, and yeah, I think we're very fortunate to have the sauna and the lovely community there, and thank you for filming it. And Clint is wonderful, and Fiona's like my favourite person I think that I've probably met in Walpole. Yeah, she's just one in a million. But yeah, thank you for making the film, Paula.
Not at all. I mean, I was trying to allowing you to, because obviously, you know, when I came down to Margate, well, obviously the first time I went to the tidal pool was roughly this time last year, and within a couple of days, all of a sudden, I knew a load of people, I had a load of names, and, you know, we're just kind of welcome with open arms. Can you tell me about your sauna story a little bit more?
My sauna story? Oh, gosh. Probably during COVID, I lived in Horton Kirby near Dartford, and I would illegally drive to Margate and Walpole, and I started going in the tidal pool with obviously locals. At first I saw them and thought they're completely bonkers. Then my at the time dog died, Paddy, and then we suddenly got Freddie. I didn't really want another dog, but we got him. And then I took him around Scotland with me again during COVID. Went and stayed with my cousin in the Isle of Skye, like you do. And then we just kept coming back to Walpole. The sauna obviously wasn't open during COVID and stuff, but I was hoping that it would be when I returned from Australia. But I love going in there. I love the people. There's lots of different stories. Varied people come from all over to go in the sauna and the pool. I talked about it often to people in Sydney, and hyped it up, largest tidal pool in the UK, and it's fabulous and all that, and then very lucky. There's just, you can get a fashion designer in there, you can get a carer in there, you can get the what they called down from London, the big gay scheme, the big gay scene, and they're always going to their sex parties, and I find that hilarious to listen to them. There's just like lots of variations of different people from walks of life, and I really like that, and they're all genuinely, really lovely.
It's totally inclusive, isn't it? And anybody can go. Hands up in the audience who's been to the sauna. Oh, that's what I thought there'd be more, but anyway, no, it is. It's a fantastic thing, really well kept secret. And what about cold water swimmers? Any more cold water swimmers? Well done, it's just the best high, the best natural high you can get. Thank you so much, Carla.
By the way, Paula, Clint did come. But
where is he?
No, he came, but he had a dinner date every day.
No, I know.
Yeah.
So did he come down?
He did. He was here.
But he had to go. Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
Oh, poor old Clint. But anyway, it is now time for the intermission. But before I let you all go, I need to tell you a few little things, okay? So the first thing is, we're going to have a raffle, right? So you will obviously all come downstairs for the raffle. There are fantastic prizes here to be won. Obviously we want you all to kind of, use the time, go to the loo, have a drink and stuff. But when you're upstairs in the bar, you must look out for a video installation by Genetic Moo. We have Genetic Moo here, Nicola and Tom. And it is an amazing installation. It's completely interactive. It would normally be on a massive big screen, but because of the light and stuff, it is on a little screen. But please have a look at it, because we're going to have a little Q&A with Genetic Moo.
Project. We went to them and said, what do you want to do? They love playing video games, and they told us a particular game which was called Wario. What's it called? Wario. Each game is about 10 seconds long, and you play that 10 seconds, and then you go to the next one, and there will be about 50 of these all linked together. I think it's called Wario Wars or something like that. So they designed each of the little games, and we had them to code it using Scratch, which is a really simple kind of coding language. And they're particularly interested. They're about 20 to sort of 30ish. They're really interested in gore and just getting as much kind of blood and guts on screen as possible, which is cool. So we helped them to do that, and then we showed them in the Margate School as part of the Now Digital Festival a few years ago, which is actually where we invited Exploding to come and do a show there in the old Woolworths building. So that was part of that.
Thank you so much. That was really interesting. So obviously, I didn't give you a chance to ask questions, but hang on, I've got a question.
I'm just wondering whether they're all silent, or whether you do make these works in response to music or audio.
We do. No, they all make sound. It's really important that sound is part of, to make something interactive and engaging. Yeah, you need a sound. So we typically have a soundscape which just kind of carries on its own. But then each of the pieces will be making particular noises as you interact. As you push these creatures around, or the newest one, you sing to it, and it will sing back to you using whatever, maths, fast Fourier transformations, stuff like that. So sound is important.
Okay, guys, thank you so much once again, and we're going to move on with My Mother Said.
My mother said I never should play with the children in the wood. If I did, she would say, naughty girl to disobey. Your hair shan't curl, your shoes shan't shine. You wayward girl, you shan't be mine. And my father said that if I did, he'd wrap my head with the teapot lid. My mother said that I never should play with the children in the wood. The wood was dark, the grass was green. By came Sally with a tambourine. I went to sea, no ship to get across. I paid 10 shillings for a blind white horse. I upped on his back and was off in a crack. Sally, tell my mother I shall never come back.
Christian in the room? Christian, fantastic. That's great.
Okay, sorry.
It's so nice to meet you. Congratulations on your film.
Thank you so much, and thank you for including it in this. It's been a real pleasure.
Well, as you know, I wanted to have both of them in because Christian sent another film along as well, which is also extremely interesting. But can I just ask you how this one came about?
Yes, of course. Well, I'm sure a lot of people here know that you try and make films as cheaply as possible. So the aim of the game here was to just try and make something simple. And yeah, because it's got the voiceover, there was no cost involved in recording the sound on the day, etc. And it was just myself and Tom Hall, who's at the back, he's the cinematographer. And we just wanted to make something simple and hopefully memorable.
What inspired it? I mean, obviously you've got this kind of, it's almost like a nursery rhyme, but I mean, actually, I'm actually also very curious about how you actually found a manhole cover in the middle of a forest. So, I mean, I think that was a real find. So, like, how did it actually, what came first? I mean, it's very atmospheric, and I know what you mean by the voiceover sound makes things kind of easy, but, like, why did you decide to do Young Girl? Why did you decide to do the rhyme? Why? And then, do you know what I mean? What kind of led to the decisions that you made?
As I said, it was because it was an attempt to make it as cheaply as possible. It was a question of not being restricted by the actors, so we could get somebody young who turned out to be fantastic. She also does the voiceover herself. So I wrote it first, and then with the trapdoor I made that, and we buried it in the wood, and then when she opens it we cut to a nuclear bunker that's in Folkestone to do the reverse shot where the bird gets dropped down.
That's amazing. That's a really good piece of artwork, you know what I mean? Because it looks so rusty and everything. It looks totally convincing for me.
Thank you very much. It was worth those 2 hours and £6.
And what other films have you got in the pipeline? And
Well, there's another film that I submitted it. You remember it called The Crossing. We've got a small YouTube channel called Maggio, Madgio. So if you want to watch that, please do. And there's a documentary that we made for the Folkestone Film Festival that's on there as well. And then we've just finished a new film called Rose, and that's about an innocent childhood game that takes a sinister turn. So that's coming out, and then cheap. And then later on in the year there'll be a film called Harry Con Cockcrow coming out, which I co-wrote. And I'm really looking forward to that because that's got a £20,000 budget. I co-wrote it, but I didn't direct it, unfortunately.
That is wonderful. Best of luck with all of those films that you've got going, and fantastic work from the cinematographer as well. Thank you. So now we have Derek and his brick.
There's family love and cupboard love, romance and bromance too. So you will not be too surprised when this couple, Bill and Coo. For our Derek was a lonely guy. Until he found a friend. A friendly bird.
The feathered kind.
On whom he could depend. He called him Dick, this friendly bird, and love between them grew. The one would chat, the other chirp, and thus they would bill and coo.
Until one night,
an idea crept into young Derek's mind. He loved his Dicky bird, but a girl he had to find.
I must wed. Derek thought, I've seen a girl who'll do. I'll send Dicky with a poem in hope this girl to woo.
He penned a verse in perfect rhyme. He wrote it from his heart.
And Dick was forced to carry this,
though it tore him right apart. Dick was the emissary of love.
His duty was to carry Derek's wedding offer
to the girl that he would marry. Poor Dicky bird. It wasn't fair to test his feelings so. But out into the wind and rain, in tears,
he had to go. Alas, the rain became a storm, and thunder rumbled round, until a sudden bolt of lightning flung out Dicky to the ground.
He plunged to earth just like a brick. His feathers fell like snow.
His broken corpse, with poem and tag, were found in the mud below.
Then a stranger picked up dear Dicky bird, scooped him in a paper box bag, posted the body with poem attached to the address he found on his tag. Thus the postman gave Derek's intended bride
a box full of feathers and gore.
She screamed.
She wept.
She cried.
Oh my God!
Then she noticed the poem on the floor. But it didn't arouse any passions of love. No, it filled her with loathing and dread.
For the man who had posted a box of dead bird
would never get her into bed.
So she posted poor Dick back to Derek at once.
Derek had a nasty surprise when he saw Dicky's body bloody and dead. The whole neighbourhood rang with his cries. He wept for the loss of both Dick and the girl. His heart, it was wounded and sore. Never more would he hear Dicky's cooing so sweet.
And he'd search for a girl, nevermore.
Never more would our Derek go looking for love. Never more would he search for a friend. Never more would a bird catch poor Derek's sad eye. Never more. That's your lot. That's the end.
Lead White here in the audience. Come on up. It's easy. I think you'll be able to get in there.
It's quite brilliant.
So Lee, if you just stand there, we should have seen in the stream. Thank you so much for sharing your film. I mean, where do you start with a film like this? Did you write the script?
Yep, I wrote the script.
And?
And then I tore up an old bed sheet, and then that's what you get.
Bed sheet?
A bed sheet, yeah, a bed sheet, and then some sheets of paper, and then my wife screamed at me frantically to let her into the room.
Yeah.
Because she needed the room. And I took the room.
So how do you know Claire Foy?
Claire Foy, she's an old friend that goes back sometime, and she owed me a favour for an event that I can't quite talk about that involved a watering can. So I said, would you mind narrating this thing for me, because I can't take it quite too seriously. And she was like, yeah, right. So she filmed it, she recorded it on her phone, she sent it over, and that was it.
Like a 5-minute job, like basically she phoned it in, everybody. She phoned it in, Claire Foy, right? And I just, when I look at it, I mean, it looks really spectacular, okay? But all I can think of is kind of German expressionism.
Yep, at the time I was kind of fixated on that a little bit, clearly. This was part of a series of poems that I was writing about the love between humans and animals. You know, it didn't come out the way it was meant to in my head. But I'm also a massive Edgar Allan Poe fan, so it was like my homage to say thank you so much for giving me these words that I found when I was a kid that got me through some spaces in my brain. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't think it matters really. It's just so entertaining and unusual and peculiar. How has it been received, like from different film festivals and stuff?
Pretty well. Like we sent. So this was on a budget of an old bed sheet and a phone that was broken. So then we just sent it off to some festivals, like no budget at all. And then a few friends were like, here you go, it's 17 quid to enter it into that. I was like, all right, let's do that. So we sent it off to a few, and then it ended up getting accepted for 16 festivals worldwide. It won 4 awards, which I can't remember what it won. I was like, oh, I did something. And then it was shown in every state in America, which, because I donated it to a kids charity, and so they use it to analyse and break apart. And like, brilliant, do it, great, that's how we do it. We deconstruct, we explode, we make things happen. So yeah, anyway.
So you're on the curriculum in America then?
Is that why they vote the way they do? Well, I don't know. No, don't blame me for that one.
Okay, has anybody got any questions for Lee?
Yes, how long did it take?
That's alright, I can do this, I can project now. That took 5 days, and it could only take 5 days, otherwise I think I would have been divorced.
Yeah. That's impressive.
She needed the room, basically, yeah? Anybody else get any questions?
Have you got a graphic design background?
Yeah and no. Yeah and no. Went to art school for, to waste some time for a year. Successfully wasted some time at art school, but I'm actually turning this into this and the other stories that I wrote that are around this, of which now there's about 10, and they start getting a lot darker and a lot darker.
Yeah.
But I'm turning it into a graphic novel.
It's just the typography is really amazing.
Oh, thanks.
So Lee, we're going to be seeing more from Derek maybe next year?
Won't be Derek. It will be a problem that I have with my mother. Yeah.
A Derek guess. Anybody get any more questions for Lee? Okay, thank you. See you next time. So next up we have Panic Cinema, #3.
been then?
Yeah, good, but I don't know. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Shit, that's hot.
I've been feeling a bit frustrated.
Sexually?
No. Creatively.
Creatively?
Yeah, like, I want to make something, but like I don't really have anything to make, and then I don't know, like a film or something. I don't know. Fuck, that's up.
A film? Sounds cool. What about?
Well, that's the problem. I don't know, man. I don't know how to make it with. I mean, you say you hate film, so not you.
Well, yeah, I do. I wouldn't know what to do anyway. I'd be useless. Can't act either.
Right fucking cunt. He was being a right cunt. I said that to him. He's being a right fucking cunt. He's such a cunt. Just that cunt is the best word for it. I know you're a cunt, and you know you're a cunt. You know? Is it that bad?
Like, yeah, he's a dick, but like, not all the time.
He's that fucking bad. I can't fucking stand the cunt.
Anyway, how's your acting going?
Me?
Yeah, you. Who else acts?
It's okay, I haven't been doing much recently. No one making anything, you know, but I'll find something.
Yeah, they were good, I think. From what I remember, they were.
And what do you remember? 100 years.
Well, they were great in the school plays. I thought they were. I can ask them if you want.
Yeah, no, I think that would be good. I reckon. Do you reckon they do?
Well, I think so. I probably want to get into more acting.
What the hell am I looking at?
Switzerland. I'll ask them then, shall I? I'll give them your Instagram or whatever.
It's like I'm really there.
Shall I?
Hang on, I'm still on holiday. I've already been there. That'd be good. I reckon. That sounds like a plan. Don't forget your tea. He'll do. So, do you reckon you'd be up to it? You know, it's a tough role. You know, it's the toughest I've written. I reckon, maybe. I'm fucking Bill! You fucking bastard! Come on, man. You're my actor. Easy! Oh, what are you doing? Oh, my God!
Yeah, I think I can do it. I'm sure I can, yeah.
Come on, what are you doing? Come! Lift me on the floor! Come on! Yeah, it's a tough role, you know. It's like I needed to capture an essence, you know, a passion, you know. I'm not getting enough. I'm not getting enough of it. Come on, 3, 4, you know, on the ground. I really need you to put your all into the role. You know, the audience needs to feel it. Your pain. I mean, your passion as an actor. Your passion for the character. You know. They need to feel it. Feel that they are you. You know, it's like animalistic. You know, it's like you're doing this and that, and like they're doing that. You know. Like, you know, it's tough, you know, it's like something raw, yeah, that's what I want, something raw and powerful. It's like, you know, like we're looking at you and you're seeing the birth of a new story.
Are you here, Toby? Come on. Give him a big round of applause. I think he needs it. So what were you on when you were making this?
I'm not sure. Nothing, actually. But yeah, I don't know what was going through my head. I watched too much Derek Jarman, I think. Done something bad for me.
That explains a lot, actually. It really does. But I think, I really like this film. I mean, anybody who does like dog pose head up in the morning gets my vote, basically, right? But just can you tell me your process? I mean, you know.
Yeah, I can't remember. So I thought of the idea. No, so it's called Panic Cinema 3 because it's part of this thing I call the Panic Trilogy, which is like not really a thing at all. My brother, I normally get really slow films, and my brother was like, you need to make quicker films. So he told me to do this, so I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I wrote this film to try and make a quick film, and I think it's quite quick. This was like back in January. I just made this really long, slow, miserable film, so I thought I needed a change of pace. So I wrote it, and I think it's actually like the first draft of the script, which is like normally a big no-no, but I thought, I can't be bothered. And then, and then I filmed it, and then there's like a huge way until I edited it, and I made a rom-com in between.
Can we see the rom-com next year?
Yeah, you could if you really want to see that. So I'd done a rom-com, and that was like I should make, that helped with the speed because it was like I should make engaging films, which I don't know if is correct, but so I like edited it like I would edit a rom-com, I suppose. So I don't know if it's anything like rom-com really, but. So yeah, that was it went through quite a lot of phases of changing like what I was interested in, I suppose. That's my process.
Did your actors suffer?
I don't know. I think about that. The guy that played the actor, so like the one that was suffering the most, he said it was an autobiographical meme film. I don't think it's autobiographical. I don't normally shout. So I think they wanted to do it. He's sort of insane in a good way. So he was quite willing. That's what I will tell you. But maybe he wasn't.
Benjamin.
What video camera did you use, and how did you get the glitchy sound?
I don't know about the sound. The guy that did it, I'm just going to brag. He's at Oxford University. I move in high circles, and he used some technology thing to get the noise off of a camera or something. I don't know. I don't really understand. It goes over my head. But the camcorder is mini DV tape, which I got into because I used to use my dad's old camera that he used when I was a child for home videos. So then I just thought my friend the other day, I was talking to my friend, and he says, your camera sort of saves you because it makes it look a bit more interesting, which he said was meant to be a compliment, but Yeah, I don't know what his point was. So yeah, it's mini DV tape because I like how sort of ugly it looks.
Anybody else got questions? Okay, I love all the framing because they're just so like, you know, the framing is just like not what you expect. You know what I mean? And obviously the performances are amazing as well. Was there a lot of ad-libbing?
No, it was quite heavily scripted. The actors are really good there. Yeah, they're quite good. The Daisy, who's the only woman in the film, she's my best friend, and Liam, the director, is her boyfriend. That's a good friend of mine. So it's just sort of like, who can I rope in to do this film? But every time I ask them to be in a film, they're like, how strange is it? And I guess it's not that strange. It's quite normal, so you can get away with it. But and then they get there and like, what do you want me to do now?
It reminds me of something a bit before your time called The Young Ones. Yeah, it's very like, you know, I think you're in the same ballpark, but thank you so much, Toby. Really great film. Give a round of applause. So next up we have The Eternal Shore.
Что такое тепло на ощупь? А холод? Вечно звенел ветер. Он рассказывал нам истории людей. Все они звучали как одна. На самом деле нет ни одной похожей, как нет ни одного одинакового камня в природе. Человек ходит по берегу своей жизни и ищет опору. На рассвете солнечные лучи растворили его силуэт. Когда в опоре образуется трещина, и под ногами разливается мрак, наступает время решить, что станет с этим легким и невесомым. Что с тяжестью упадет на дно твоей пропасти. попросила меня обернуться. Она посмотрела в мои глаза. Самое твердое правило на этом берегу — вечность остается наедине с вечностью. Возможно, тогда тяжелое становится легким в твоих руках, по-настоящему невесомым и подвижным. Если однажды ты захочешь поговорить с вечностью, научись молчать.
Evening, so that's great. Yeah. Is Harry coming as well? Fantastic. Congratulations on your film. I mean, I'm going to ask you to talk about it, but I just think it's so beautiful. The look of it is so beautiful. The overexposing and the depth of field and all that. So cinematography-wise, who'd like to talk about cinematography?
Maybe Harry.
Yeah, sure.
Harry.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've just got to say, I always worried it was dark initially, but you couldn't see it. So I'm sorry. And then then when it was bright, like you say, it was properly bleached out. Like just I don't know why that happened, but yeah.
But it looks fabulous though. It's just because of the depth of field, you know. It's
Right. Thank you.
yeah,
nice.
it looks beautiful. I mean, obviously dark way to set it.
It does, yeah. It's excellent, isn't it? Definitely. Yeah.
So that was an accident.
Yeah,
Not
basically.
really, I mean,
Yeah.
not really. You were kind of, I mean, yeah, the darkness at the beginning, I think that
Yeah, just that.
on certain screens it doesn't look quite as dark as that.
Exactly that, man. It was always dark, but yeah, just it might have been a bit lighter.
It
but
gets lighter though.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
wouldn't
exactly.
see
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
What are you shooting on?
It's like a Canon DSLR.
Oh my goodness, because it looks like film to me.
It's got some. What's it got? I mean, no, it's just a Canon with some kind of filters on and stuff here and there.
So were you trying to make it look like film?
I always would hope I
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
To be honest, but it's mostly colour stuff, I think. But yeah.
So how, like, all three of you are working together. So I mean, I know the documentary, but obviously
Yeah, talk about
you're
that.
one of the artists is in Russia.
Yeah.
So can you just tell me the process of how you actually work together?
Yeah, so I went through a period of time of making a lot of stone circles in the dunes at Botany Bay. Like quite a lot of them. It became quite obsessional, and it's quite a process to do it, 'cause you have to like time it with the tide and like lug quite a lot of massive bits of chalk out of the sea, and then I'd go leave them in the dunes, and I'd go back at night and make these stone circles. And then I would go back, I'd walk with Paddy, who's the dog, and he would, do his thing or whatever, and I'd do my thing. And then we'd go back in the day and I'd watch people interact with them, but normally that's just destroying them, is how most people interact with it, is what I learned. Or, some people would have a picnic in the middle of them, which was quite nice, because some of them were quite big. And then I was like, that's cool, whatever, and then it kind of did bug me a little bit, and I was like, I want to kind of document it in some way, but then not make a documentary about it. I'm not that kind of like self-important to make a documentary about it, but then Harry came down, and I was showing him, and he had the camera, and we were like, let's shoot some stuff. And then we came to a night here, and people were sharing, it was Song Salon, which is like an incredible night, and we kind of like, oh, it'd be good to share something. And I'm in communication with Xenia, who lives in Russia, and she's an astrologer. We talk a lot about that, the alignment, stone circles, all that kind of jazz. And then we had the film mainly made, and then I showed it to her, and she wrote a poem in response to that, and then she recorded it, and we put it on there, and then we subtitled it, so you can understand what she was saying.
That's really amazing. I know you said you were making, I didn't realise you were actually making these circles, so it's like kind of, it's like very interesting what you're doing. They're kind of, you're putting kind of, monuments in the sand. I mean, and it's very...
Yeah, I mean, but it's very transient. It's there for a very short amount of time. That tree that's in it, Harry had to help me put that in because it was waterlogged and it was like really heavy. So we put that in, and then I started it. We did some other footage of quite a lot of the other stone circles. They're like all across the dune. They're not really there anymore. A lot of it's just crushed chalk now. People like to just pick it up and just smash it. Well, no, not really, because that's what I mean. It's just all, it's just all what it is, isn't it? I mean, I'm organising it, which is also way doing that. It's all as like kind of nonsense as the rest of it. I was hoping that I'd go there and someone else would have put another circle, but then you have to be a bit weird to go down there and like they're massive bit. There's like 20 kilos worth of. And it's difficult taking it across the sand.
So are you a bit weird then?
I was going through some things at the time, and it's cheaper than therapy, so I was doing that.
Very good. But what was inspiring you for these stone circles? Like, I mean, obviously, I'm from Ireland, so we've got obviously you've got Avebury, you've got Stonehenge, and you've got Newgrange in Ireland. Do you know Newgrange?
Yes, I haven't been there, but I know it, yeah. Harry lives in Wiltshire, right next to Stonehenge. They've got them all, actually, in Wiltshire. We've got very few, but there is one. There's a few. Not that I was trying, because obviously that chalk is shit rock to make anything that's going to last any amount of time. No, maybe I won't get into that.
Has anybody got any questions?
What does he not get into?
Yeah, hang on. Okay, let's question them first.
I noticed it felt very much like Stalker by Tarkovsky, like the music and the feel.
Harry is that the musician. Harry does the music as well. Yeah, the music's incredible.
Is one of you a Stalker fan? Oh, yeah, right up your street. Yeah.
My mental health issues. But okay. Get ready, yeah, I'm gonna cheer up now. No, so I'm an actor, and I spent a lot of time in a show, and I had a really difficult time in it. I did it for like nearly 2 years, and had a mental breakdown basically. And so a lot of that was like unpicking that, and it kind of felt like I was doing something as ephemeral as this, just making something that kind of it was not going to last. But it was very taxing to do it, and I did it at night a lot because I didn't want to talk to anyone when I was doing it. So I would, like the preparation of just moving the stones and stuff, and then doing it. It was. I liked how difficult it was to do it, and I also liked the fact that it wasn't a permanent thing. But then obviously that's not true, because then I made a film about it. But then the film probably will only get seen in this room now. Well, we don't really think it's got like life after this. It was just that we came to that night and we were like, oh, that's really nice that people are sharing their creativity. So yeah, that's why we did that.
Well, congratulations, and I think it's a beautiful film, right? And I think obviously like being out with your dog and all of that is what you needed. You know what I mean? So it was amazing. So a nice round of applause. Get myself one of those chains from my glasses. Anyway, next film up is Leonard's Cars, the final film of the night.
I first met Leonard quite unexpectedly, really. It was a nurse who bounded up to me and said, Lizzie, there's an artist in the ward. You must go and meet Leonard. He didn't actually speak an awful lot, quite a quiet person, but I got to know him, I suppose, more through his drawings. I was fascinated by why he was doing it. And so I really questioned, Leonard, how did you get started? And he explained it was being in a side room I guess, in a room in a hospital, and he said after a week he felt so bored. And he had an idea. He would draw what he really enjoyed, which was cars. And he said at first he didn't think they were that good, but the nurses seemed to like it. And so that encouraged him to get going. And with their interest and encouragement, he continued. And he continued and continued. As you can see, more and more artwork he created. So every day it became his kind of reason for being alive, I guess. I'd seen Leonard many times drawing away. And the last time I saw him, it was different. He had stopped drawing. That was quite a moment, actually. And I knew he'd be going to a hospice. And so one day, obviously, Leonard had gone to a hospice and passed away. I felt very sad that he had gone. There was this lovely creative presence in the wards, and then he was gone. And most people actually struggle to do much painting or drawing. So I think out of feeling quite down for a while without his presence, that made me think I need to do something with those feelings. And that was how I felt. I need to make sure that there's some opportunities for other adults on the wards. This feels like a positive legacy. His artwork, I started putting up copies of that and feeling I needed to do something with it to encourage others. And I created an anti-boredom trolley and also folders, and just felt the need to learn more. And maybe that was a positive way of addressing the loss that someone had brought, but also the gift of creativity that, as you can see, I'm surrounded by his work, and that continues to inspire. Leonard went from being someone who was a patient, who maybe you wouldn't remember, to someone we'll never forget. One of the biggest things really that I've been thinking about with Leonard is, why isn't everybody doing this?
Thanks very much, that's great. So thank you so much for sharing your film. It's such a beautiful film. And I just wanted to know, like, were you commissioned to do this film, or did you know about it, or just explain a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. So I was working with Lizzie on some other projects for the Royal College of Pathologists, and she is commissioned by them to actually, she does get people to do art and creativity whilst they're in hospital. And I was working for her in a graphic design capacity and helping her put some things together. And she just mentioned this person. And she actually mentioned him a couple months before it really clicked with me, because she mentioned him in passing and I didn't think too much of it. And then one day on a Zoom call, she mentioned him again, but she got out a stack of papers from a cupboard, like in the bottom of the cupboard, and started showing me all of these, and I just felt like something had to be put right in a way. Like I thought that this had to exist, not just in a cupboard underneath, and and I felt in a way it was like, yeah, I was really compelled to do something, whether it was make a film or to display them, and actually after this, the UCLH commissioned us to produce. So I scanned in like almost every single one of those, there was over 1,000 drawings, and one of the things I thought was like quite interesting was when I first saw these, I was like, oh, some 10-year-old kid, you know, and actually when I found out his age, I was like, well, this is amazing, you know, and I scanned them all in, and actually in the end we made 2,000 colouring books. So I scanned them in, and then I removed the colour from a lot of them, not all of them. That would have taken me forever. And we produced it's like a 20 page colouring book, A4, to give to people on the ward so that they could colour in. And I was just so compelled for there to be some impact, you know, past his passing.
That's just even more moving than the actual film. The fact that they've got colouring books as well. Does his family know about this, and what do they think?
Yeah, it's always, I say always, I don't know if it is always, but it was quite a, Lizzie is very mindful of the people that were survived. Like his brother, he had a sister, and she wanted to. It was tough to try and, like, you know, she's got young. You know, I mean, this is a few years old now. I say young me, different me. Like, come on, like, I really want to tell this. I really want to get this out there. And she's like, whoa, hang on, you know. So she was really like crucial to that, and she was very delicate with how she approached the family. You know, to take anyone's name and story and put it, immortalize it, and put it on the internet. Like, it's quite needs to be dealt with respect. So they were actually not involved so much. We wanted to get a sign off from them, but they seem to. Anything that I would say about his relationship with his family would be speculation, so it doesn't really feel right. But yeah.
I was actually just thinking of, would you have to get copyright for the colouring book?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's fine. Because you don't recognise him, it's one name.
Yeah, so I hadn't thought of that, but I think that's definitely something that's more Lizzie's remit. To be fair, she works with the college and she knows. I think actually no, she did. He signed them over to her at some point. I believe. I hope. Anyway, yeah. The audience gonna like get the police involved.
I'm sure any money would have been going to the charity anyway. But there's two things about the film. I mean, obviously, I just love the dress that she wears, because it's perfect for matching against all the different cars, right? And I'd love to see those cars displayed. I think it should be a wallpaper. I mean, it could be a kid's wallpaper. But even the fact that they've all got names, and you obviously know them, so, you know, I'm sure there must be, the differences in the cars must be really interesting to actually see all that.
Yeah, so Leonard was undiagnosed autistic, and his ability to recall the names of these vehicles, but not just the names of them, but like it might be a company, like a dump truck that he'd seen and saw on the road one time, you know, and the model of it and things like that, and he would write them all on the side, you know. Ones that jump out to me were like, you know, those Cadbury's trucks. Like, I mean that's not, you know, it doesn't take much. It's a very big name, but there was lots of cars in there that were sort of. Businesses and, you know, sand removal companies and things like this. So it was full of. They're all so different, you know. And actually, one of the most amazing things, and that was quite inspiring for me, was like some of them were drawn with felt tip. I think if there's any artists in the room, like particularly me when I was younger, if I was drawing with felt tip and it started running out, that went in the bin, you know. But he would find another colour and just carry on. You know, and you would have these like multicoloured cars, and I loved how that you could see that the felt tip was running out, and it was really, I think, indicative of felt tips you get in any institution that aren't your own. You know, go through the pot and you find one, and that one works. You know, but he was really using them to the absolute death, which I thought was really good.
Has anybody got a question for?
Can you buy them?
Unfortunately not, no, yeah, it was just, so it was just 2,000 copies went to UCLH, and they commissioned me to design and to have them printed, and then they distributed them out. And then actually, do you know what, like, you know, you were talking about wallpaper and things like that, I always thought that obviously there was a big need for people. I've been on the ward. It's boring, you know, and I think there's a massive need for people in these places and these situations, and still to a degree feel like it is untapped or has unfulfilled potential. But I moved on to other things really, and so it can be very hard working with. I have very little experience working and getting things through the door and pushing for things with big sort of institutions and things like that. So it felt like it would be a massive fight, but I was very happy with what we managed to achieve from it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, it's a very inspiring film. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, so thank you all so much for coming. Thanks very much to the filmmakers and all their supporters for coming. Thank you, the audience, for coming, and I hope you enjoyed your night. Thanks to the Tom Thumb Theatre for hosting us, and thanks to all the Exploders for the fabulous setup that they've done, and all the tech and all the rest of it, okay? So I hope you all go and have another drink at the bar. Stretch your legs.
Can we say thank you to Paul? Putting together a fantastic show, and I feel like I've been to Margate. I'm from London, but now I do like everything about London.